The third day of training camp for the Saints started on a pretty rough note. Marshon Lattimore with an injury. How long will this keep him out for? It's uncertain, but I think it raises questions about his status with the team, the depth of the cornerback room, and all that. So I'll talk about it right here on the Straight Up Saints podcast.
You're listening to the Straight Up Saints podcast.
What's going on, guys? It's Chris Rosvoglu of the Straight Up Saints podcast, presented by Scott Fickner Injury Lawyers. You've been injured in any kind of accident, car, truck, 18-wheeler, hurt offshore. Scott Fickner handles it all. You give him a call at 504-500-1111 for a free consultation. They'll always fight for the win. As always, guys, if you like what we're doing here at Booker Media, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps us out tremendously. What will not help us out tremendously is the Saints getting an injury of big magnitude early in training camp. So on this Friday, thought it was Thursday, but Friday, Marshon Lattimore goes down with a hip flexor injury. That's all we know at the moment. Dennis Allen spoke to the media briefly about it. We got to see. Obviously, it's not ideal, given his injury history, given the fact that Marshon Lattimore the past 2 years has already missed a lot of time. And even coming into this offseason, right, he was mentioned in trade rumors. And half the fan base obviously didn't want him to go because he's been such a great player for such a long time. And I'm sure there's another portion of the Saints fan base that goes, well, he misses a lot of time anyway, so if the right deal's out there, make it. Let's scratch all that for now. Let's just be in the moment. Let's talk about what this means for the New Orleans Saints. Regardless if it's a long-term injury, maybe one that keeps him out for months or keeps him out for weeks, the reality is us Saints fans should probably look at this Saints cornerback room and maybe think of Paulson Adebo as the number one guy. That doesn't mean talent-wise. I still think Marshon Lattimore from a talent perspective is their best cornerback, and I don't think it's necessarily close. But you need to be available. So for that point, I would say Paulson Adebo, huge opportunity. Regardless if Marshon Lattimore plays all 17 games or not this year, Paulson Adebo has a chance to go out there, prove that he can be durable and be a top corner for this team. He was tremendous last season. If he does it again, he'll get an extension. There's no doubt about it. And if he doesn't get an extension, he'll get paid by another team. So great opportunity here for Paulson Adebo if I were to flip it to the positive. And I think it's also just another reminder Saints drafted Kool-Aid McKinstry for a reason. They feel like he can give them not only depth, but immediate impact. And he may have to. He worked with the ones this Friday, and we'll see how he builds up. But Adebo, Kool-Aid McKinstry, Alontae Taylor, the pressure and the opportunity will be there for those three guys if Lattimore misses time. Now, we could get lucky as Saints fans. This could be an injury that doesn't hold him out for long, but it does feel a little bit like a punch in the gut that this early in training camp, you lose one of your top three players, arguably your best player. Again, doesn't mean he's out for a while, doesn't mean he's out for the season, but it does kind of damper the expectations and the mood in the building, which is unfortunate because this offseason wasn't that exciting to begin with. So to have that early in training camp, really unfortunate. That being said, Saints have time. The good news is we don't know how severe it is. And you might say, how is that good news? Honestly, I'll take no news at the moment than bad news with the way it's gone for this team. So we'll see how it all plays out. But Marshon Lattimore, hip flexor injury, those can be a little bit tricky. Well, I don't necessarily know how long that'll keep him out. But the opportunity now swings towards Adebo. You got to look at him as the cornerback one. You may not want to, but I think you have to because Lattimore has missed so much time. And I'd love to live in this reality or this world, where he's healthy all of these 17 games. But he hasn't been the last 2 years. Doesn't seem like he will be this year. And we'll see, and we'll go from there. So that's going to wrap it up for this quick video from the Straight Up Saints podcast. As always, guys, make sure to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more content because obviously as training camp goes up and we get closer to the preseason, we'll have live shows, we'll have interviews, we'll have much more coming up very, very soon. But that's going to wrap it up for this edition of the Straight Up Saints podcast, the destination for the Who Dat Nation.